Hi everybody, this is Jen from Scrap and Posh, and I am here to share with you some projects that I completed. One of the concerns that some people have with paper collections is that they're expensive. So I wanted to show you, if you utilized the entire collection, what all you can make from one. You don't have to buy the entire collection, although if you're a collector like I am, it's just what you do. So I started with the Graphic 45 Alice's Tea Party collection. This is the collection pack. It comes with 2 each 8 double-sided 12 by 12 papers, so that's 16 12 by 12s, and 2 6 by 12 paperweight stickers. Sorry, and I will show you those in a minute because I didn't use them all. I had the 8 by 8 pad, which is 3 each of 8 designs, so that's 24 8 by 8 pieces of paper. And a patterns and solids, which is another 16 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. So you start with that, and I also had the journaling cards, which I don't have the package for anymore, the chipboard pieces, and the ephemera pack. So all in all, you're looking about $20, $40, $60 to $70 for one of these collections packs, which is expensive for paper. But let me show you what you can get out of it. So first, I'm going to show you what I have left. There's quite a bit. Maybe not paper, but I have some of the other elements, and we could have gone without purchasing these elements. Now, of course, the stickers come with the collection pack, so you don't have to purchase those separately, and I used about half of them. The border strips are like some of my favorite stickers, and then the other ones I just used as accents. This is the remainder of the paper, so I have very little left. There's still a couple more that I could use for cards. I have some of the journaling cards left, and then some of the fussy cutting that I did. So that is it for the paper. This is all I have left. So whether or not I delve back in here and do, anything with these, you could do ATC cards, art journaling, Memorex cards, scrapbook pages. You could do all sorts of things with those scraps. There's also some cut aparts in here from the cut apart page. And I have a tiny 2x2 album that I use. The reason why I don't have the journaling pack is because I cut the back of it up and I used it for a tuck spot. So I have some cut aparts, the packaging for the journaling cards, and then my ephemera pieces. I used almost all of them. I still have some of these big pieces left. These are from the ephemera pack. The chipboard I did not hardly use at all. I think maybe I only used 1 or 2 pieces. So probably going forward I won't purchase the chipboard. I can use glossy accents on these and make tassels for my books, and I'll link a video on how to do that. So that is what I have left of the collection. Now the big question is, okay, what did you get out of the collection? So let me show you. Okay, so starting from smallest to largest, I start with, actually I end with cards. So these cards are quilted cards, and they're using the paper strips left over from the collection. There is nothing here that's over 1 inch wide as far as paper strip goes. So when you make your albums and your other projects, these are the parts that are left over from that. I also did, using the same strips, but they're all the same size, some ribbon cards with some little flowers on them. So you got a good 10 of the quilted cards. I have 3 of the ribbon cards, and then I did 6 of the pinwheel cards. So you can see these were made from 1 1/4 inch squares that I use a punch for, and then strips of paper down at the bottom. So you have a good amount of cards, and I have some more that I could potentially make. I made a 3D project here from the Dreaming Tree SVG teacup file, which used very little paper. I think it used one piece that was like 8 by 8 and one piece that was like 7 by 6. So 3D projects are a good way to use your paper. The smallest album I did was one of my 2 by 2 albums, and I have a tutorial for this. Once I put it up, I will link it here. But this little 2 by 2 album is perfect to use for your scraps before you start making your cards. It uses pieces that are a little bit bigger than the card fronts where you're quilting cards, and I use the back of the journaling pack where it shows you the cards, the little images of the cards, as little tuck spots. This is also one, you can use it, well, that one was a little matte. This one is actually a tuck spot. And you can use some of your ephemera pieces in here if you have leftover small ephemera pieces like this heart. And it's just a good way to utilize all those little bits and pieces that you have left over. The pages themselves in this album are 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4. I'm sorry, 1 3/4 inch by 1 3/4 inch. It measures 2 by 2 with a 1 inch spine. Not very practical, but it's really cute. Next, we did a 4 by 4 by 2 inch mini album. I've done many of these. They're all a little bit different, but I'll just flip through real quick. I think the pages are about 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. It gives you a chance to use your small cut-aparts from your 8 by 8 sheets and some of your other cut-aparts and stickers, and some of the small strips for all the pockets that I put in here. And all the pages are just a little bit different, and of course, to add interest, we put a little fold out there. Another one of the cut-apart sheets, and one of the small journaling tags from the 8 by 8. And then I also use the quilted method for some of the pages so that we can use up some of those scraps. And then, of course, a belly band where you can put some more scraps. Another quilted page. And then I used the journaling tags here for the front, or at least for the back of the album cover. And I just cut off where the words were, so you still have the lines. You can definitely write something in there. I always stick one of the stickers or one of the ephemera pieces on the back, and this time I embellished the front with some little acrylic and paper roses and a lot of the ephemera. Next, I did a 4 by 8 by 2 inch mini, and remember, I'm going in backwards order. So whenever you make your albums, you start with the biggest and go to the smallest. It gives you your best sheet utilization as far as paper goes. So the front is pretty plain, but I use this plaid paper to back it, and the side has one of the ephemera pieces on it, and the back has, I think that's an ephemera piece that I cut the little circle off of. And then this is similar to a lot of my 4 by 8 albums. So you can see how we also use the quilted method in this one to use up some of those paper scraps, because when you're making your 8 by 8 album, you end up with a lot of paper scraps. And this is just a good way to get rid of some of your 4-inch papers. When you cut an 8 by 8 out, you end up with 4 inches on the top and 4 inches on the bottom, and this is a 4 by 8 album. It has 3 3/4 by 7 7/8 pages. So it gives you a chance to use all of your 4-inch strips. Now, the chipboard that I use for all of these come out of 2 12 by 12 medium weight chipboards, which is where I came up with the sizes. You get one 8 by 8, one 4 by 8, one 4 by 4, and one 2 by 2 with all the spines out of one 12-inch paper, or one 12-inch chipboard, and you cut those twice. That's how you end up with all your chipboard for the front and back. So if you think about it, you don't use a whole lot of material for the amount of things that you get out of your paper collections. So you may use a total of $100 worth of material, including your pattern paper, your cardstock, your glue, and what have you, but you have 4 albums, a 3D project, and a lot of cards to show for it. Okay, so I think I've done flip throughs on all these, so I'm just going through real fast. I'll try and link everything in the description below. And then this is what we start with. Always start with the biggest album because it gives you your best sheet utilization. And I'm just going to flip through this really fast because I did an entire tutorial on it. So you can see just how much paper. I think these albums have a total of 12 pages in them, and then I added lots of pages in between. Gives you, if you start with your biggest one, it gives you a really good idea of how much paper you have left to play with. But the amount of real estate on these, as far as putting pictures and stuff on it, is huge. So if you ever question whether or not the whole collection is worthwhile, the answer is yes, it's worth it. Do you need it? It depends on how many things you want to make. So, because you can do plenty with one 12 by 12, you could do plenty with a solid and patterns. You do not need to buy the whole collection, but if you do buy the whole collection and you utilize it to the most of its capacity, then it's not a waste of money. So these are the albums that I made. Again, we have the 3D project that I made, which just is huge impact when you're filming and taking pictures. Your 3D projects always have a big impact. And then all these cards that I made from the same collection, and I have some more that I could probably make. So I wanted to share that with you and let you know that if you would like to, and if you utilize your paper to the most of its capabilities, to the most of its potential, then you can definitely come out on top as far as the projects versus the price that you pay. But you do not need all this. You can just make one album with one set of paper. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy or asccraftsupplies.com. Use ScrappingPosh10 for 10% off your entire regular price purchase. And buy the paper that you want. Buy the paper that you love. Buy the paper that you can afford. And purchase responsibly. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.